So do you remember what we have discussed in the last class? Histology of cartilage. Histology of cartilage we have discussed in the last class. Okay. Now the next tissue which we will be studying today, that is the bone. Microscopic structure of bone. And before going to the microscopic structure of bone, have you studied the classification of bone? Yes. Have you studied the classification of bone? How many? We know that 206 bones are there in our body. Now, what is the classification? See, classification is there based on the shape. Now, based on what you will classify? First of all, based on the shape, we can classify. So, for example, long bone, short bone, irregular bone, whatever you have studied along with the examples. What are the other classification? Based on the structure. Okay, based on the structure, as you can see, I have mentioned according to the structure, classifications are there, and another classification is there, that is based on development. Okay, so if you see the entire classification of bone, mainly three types are there: based on shape, based on structure, based on development. Okay, based on development, membranous bones are there and cartilaginous bones are there, which develop from membrane, and some bones develop from cartilage. Okay, so this is the entire classification. Now, though it is a histology class, so we will be focusing mainly on the according to the structure, means classification of bone according to the structure. So how many types are there according to the structure? It's written two types, microscopic and macroscopic. I hope you know the meaning of microscopic and macroscopic. Now, in macroscopic, we are getting the compact bone and spongy bone, and in case of microscopic, lamellar bone and oven bone. Okay, so first we will see the macroscopic structure. This is the compact bone and the spongy bone. I hope you have seen the long bones. You have studied also the long bones. Now, have you seen the LS of long bone? Suppose a long bone is there. You have taken the LS of the long bone. Have you seen the interior of the long bone? I don't think so. Now this is a long bone, so if you cut the long bone, if you are taking the LS, such kind of appearance will be there. Okay, now can you see this particular area? What is the appearance? And you can see this particular area. Why I am showing you this? Because the inner area which you can see, this is nothing but the spongy bone, or also called as cancellous bone. Means this particular part is made up of spongy bone or cancellous bone. Okay? In some book it is written spongy, some book it is written cancellous bone, meaning same. Now the outermost portion, can you see this outermost portion? Now this is made up of a bone which is called as compact bone, or also called as cortical bone. Compact bone or cortical bone. Now I am not telling that in other bones you will not get. This is easy to understand. That's why I have shown you the long bone. Okay, so you take a long bone. If you take the LS, you can open it. Once you open it, you can see the interior. So at the center part, the bone which will appear, that is the spongy or the cancellous bone, and on the outer aspect, the bone which will be there, that is the compact bone, or also called as the cortical bone. So first we will see the features of the compact bone and cortical bone. Okay, and then we will go into the microscopic structure. Okay, first we will see the normal features. Normal features means, suppose you have taken the LS, whatever you can see from your own eyes, we will see those features first, and after that the microscopic one. Okay. Okay, so in compact bone, as I said, also called as cortical bone. Compact bone is also called as cortical bone. It is denser material used to create much hard structure of the skeleton. Okay. Next, if you see the compact bone, they forms the cortex or the outer hard shell of the bone. It is made up of lamellae and osteons. I don't know whether you have heard or not, but if you see the structure of the compact bone, in that these lamellae are there and osteons are there. Now what are lamellae, what are osteons, that we'll discuss in detail in the microscopic structure. Okay. Now compact bone formed by number of osteons, so many osteons are there, and along with that different circular units are there present in the bone material. Now each osteon composed of number of cells responsible for the maintenance of the bone, including osteocytes and osteoblasts. Means these are the cells which are present in the bone. I hope you know that bone is a connective tissue. We have discussed connective tissue, then the classification also. In classification, I have told you that two types are there: generalized connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. Okay, so cartilage is also a specialized connective tissue. Same along with the cartilage, bones are also specialized connective tissue. So we are discussing the specialized connective tissue. Okay, don't forget. Now in specialized connective tissue, all those three components will be there. That means cells will be there, fibers will be there, and ground substance. Okay, so all those things I am coming, will be discussing in the microscopic structure. Okay. Next, what is the function of the compact bone? As you can see, the compact bone forms the main structure of the body, support and protection. It is providing support as well as protection because it is more harder as compared to the spongy bone, because of the unique arrangement of the lamellae and the osteons. Next, the compact bone also serves as function for storing and releasing calcium whenever it is required. Next, also provide strong mechanical levers against which the muscles can create movement. So, I hope you have studied the muscle insertion. Okay, origin insertion. So muscle when it is inserted, जब insert होता है, तो which part of the bone it is inserted? That is the compact bone, not into the spongy bone. Okay. Next, function supported by the joints created spongy bone and connective tissue such as tendons, ligaments, etc. So these are also attached to the compact bone. Next, another diagram is there. So here you can see this is the spongy bone and this is the compact bone. Okay, you can see this is the compact bone. Okay, next, spongy bone. So spongy bone is also called as cancellous bone or also called as trabecular bone. The spongy bone which is there, it is also called as trabecular bone or cancellous bone. Okay, the spongy bone, they are lighter. As you see, spongy bone are lighter, softer and weaker as compared to the cortical bone. Okay. Now the spongy bone is found on the inside of some bones and it is surrounded by strong compact bone. So the interior of the bone, here I have taken the example of long bone. Okay, so the interior part is made up of spongy bone. Okay. Now mostly if you see the marrow cavity, bone marrow cavity, around that the bones which are present, that is nothing but the spongy bone. Okay, and I hope you know what is marrow cavity, where the bone marrow are situated. Now if you see the structure of spongy bone, so it is also composed of cells, osteocytes, small cavities. Okay, the small cavities are there and these are called as lacunae. Now the lacunae accompanying the osteocytes are housed in the trabeculae of the matrix. Okay, that's why though the trabeculae are formed, that's why these are also called as trabecular bone. Now blood vessels travel through the harder compact bone to the spongy bone. Okay, osteocytes position close to the blood vessel and can take nutrients and expel the waste products whenever it is required. A spongy bone can be converted into compact bone by the action of the osteoblast whenever it is required. Now here is a comparison between the compact bone and the spongy bone. Okay, so here you can see density of the compact bone. It is more dense, just like an ivory. It is porous like a sponge. Okay. Next, Haversian system is there. What is Haversian system? We'll discuss. Don't worry. The Haversian system is present. A particular shape is there of the Haversian system, where Haversian canal is there. So that is present in case of compact bone. In case of spongy bone, it is absent. Next, arrangement of the bony lamella. It is regular, and here it is irregular. Okay. Location, outer region, and this is the inner region, which I have shown you in the diagram. Next, bone marrow. Here it is absent. Bone marrow is not there. Here it is present. So as I said, around the bone marrow, the bony part which is present, that is nothing but the spongy bone. Now the body weight 75% is of compact bone and spongy bone only 25%. Okay. So this particular chart, comparison chart, will help you to understand the differences between the spongy bone and the compact bone. Okay. Though you have seen the spongy bone and compact bone, and I have shown you the differences also. Now what we'll do, we'll go to the microscopic structure. Okay, till now whatever we have discussed, these are not microscopic structure. This directly you can see. Okay, if you take a long bone, if you take a LS, open it, directly dikhai dega all those things whatever I have shown you. That's why you have seen the diagrams which I have used. Further, in order to see the other structure, for example Haversian system, lamella, trabecular structure, for that what we need microscope. We need microscopic structure. Okay, now here is a diagram. If you see the functions of the spongy bone, first of all they will store minerals, they will store the bone, storage of bone marrow, erythropoiesis. I hope you know what is erythropoiesis, and reduces the weight of the skeleton. Okay, now if you see the diagram carefully, just see the diagram carefully. As you can see, this is one layer of bone, this is another layer of bone. So these are the compact bone. In between this, can you see a porous type of bone which is present? That is nothing but the spongy bone. Okay, now from this spongy bone, if you magnify this particular part, see this arrangement is there. Now this arrangement is called as trabecular arrangement. This is called as trabecular arrangement. Okay, now this trabecular, in between the trabecule you can see some spaces are there. Can you see the spaces? Now in these spaces nothing but the bone marrow is situated. Okay, now further, so that much can be seen, now if you take one trabecule and then if you want to see further detail, then this is the microscopic structure. So I hope you have understood how we are going deeper into the bone tissue, into the structure. So up to this much you can see easily, you don't need microscope. Beyond that, how you will see, you need microscope. So this is the microscopic structure. Why? As you can see, osteoblasts, osteoclasts, osteocytes, this lamellae, canaliculi, all those things are there. Okay, so next we will go to the microscopic structure. Now in microscopic structure, I have told you two types are there. What are they? Lamellar and oven bone. Lamellar bone and oven bone. Okay, so this is the way if you study, then it will become very easy to understand, okay, about the microscopic structure. Please close the door. Okay, so this lamellar bone, if you see the lamellar bone, these are secondary bone. How they are created? By the remodeling of oven bone. That means first oven bone will be formed, and after that we are getting the lamellar bone by a process that is called as remodeling. Now lamellar bones has regular parallel alignment of the collagen fibers, very important. So if you see the collagen fibers, you know that collagen fibers are there in the bone. So the arrangement of the collagen fibers, that is parallel alignment of the collagen fibers into the sheets of the lamellae, which makes it mechanically strong. Now it is highly organized in a concentric sheets. So these lamellae which are there, how these lamellae are arranged? Mainly they are arranged in concentric manner. I hope you know what is concentric. Concentric का meaning क्या है? Yes, okay. So concentric arrangement is there. As I said, highly organized in concentric sheets with much lower proportion of osteocytes in the surrounding tissue. Okay. So in case of a mature bone, that is the lamellar bone, okay, the number of osteocytes which are there, it is less as compared to the oven bone. In oven bone, more number of osteocytes are there. Next, the lamellar bone is stronger and filled with many collagen fibers which are parallel to each other. Next, in cross section, the fibers run opposite direction in alternating layers, and this kind of structural arrangement provides bone to get the torsional force, to withstand or to resist the torsional force. Torsional force means twisting force. Okay, twisting force. To resist the twisting force, this particular arrangement is there. Now the structure of any adult bone is made up of lamellae. Now this part is important. The structure of any adult bone is made up of lamellae. Now if anyone asks you what is the meaning of lamellae, lamellae is plural, lamellas is singular. Okay, so here you can see these are the lamellae. This is one lamellus, this is one lamellus, this is one lamellus, this is one lamellus. Okay, so 1, 1, 1, this is lamellus. Together these are called as lamellae. Okay, so made up of thin sheet of bone, these are called as lamellae. As you can see, this is one lamellus, this is one lamellus, this is one like this. the arrangements are there. Now each lamellus is thin plate of bone consisting of collagen fibers, mineral salts deposited in a gelatinous ground substance. Okay, तो ये जो lamellus form हुआ है, so this is one lamellus. Now how this lamellus is formed? So it is formed by the collagen fibers are there, mineral salts are there which are deposited in the ground substance, and the ground substance is gelatinous in nature. Okay. Next, between the adjoining lamellae there are small flattened space and these are called as lacunae. मतलब जो bony sheets है, suppose one sheet is there, another sheet is there, but they are not attached to each other. Small gap is there, and that gap is called as lacuna. Okay, so what is present in this lacunae? Osteocytes are present. Okay, what is present in this lacunae? Osteocytes are present. As you can see, between adjoining lamellae there are small flattened spaces that is called as lacunae. Now each lacuna consists of osteocytes. Okay, and from osteocytes spreading from each lacuna there are some fine canals, and these are called as canaliculi, which communicate with the adjacent lacunae. Okay, so one lacunae is there, another lacunae. They are connected to each other. How? By canaliculi. Okay, and in the lacunae what is present? Osteocytes are present. Okay, now the question is then what is present in the canaliculi? The processes of the osteocytes. Processes of the osteocytes. These are traveling through the canaliculi, and this canaliculi will connect the adjacent lamellae. Okay, as you can see in the diagram. So if you focus in this diagram, can you see this is one lamellus, this is one lamellus. Can you see a space? Everyone, can you see the space? So this is the lacunae. Inside the lacunae, can you see the cell? So this is osteocyte. Now this particular lamellae are connected to each other by canaliculi, and through that canaliculi processes of osteocytes are passing. Okay. As you can see, these are the canaliculi. These are the canaliculi through which the processes of the osteocytes, okay, through which the processes of the osteocytes are passing. So that is the lamellar bone. Next is the oven bone. Now oven bone characterized by haphazard organization of the collagen fibers, and they are very weak mechanically. So whenever bone formation is taking place, suppose fracture हो गया, okay, fracture healing होता है, at that time new bone formations are taking place. During that point, the bone which is formed, that is nothing but the oven bone. Okay, so in that what happens, as you can see, haphazard organization of the collagen fibers are there, and these are mechanically weak bone. Now in case of fetal bones also, oven bone are there. Fetal bone, when the fetus is developing, at that time also the bone which is formed, that is nothing but the oven bone. Okay. Now after fracture, the initial bone unites the fracture, that is the oven bone. So these are some examples where the oven bone are present. Now oven bone are weaker, smaller in number, randomly oriented collagen fibers, okay, but forms quickly. Now oven bone are basically either immature or pathologic bone. So mainly they are immature bones. Okay. Now compared to lamellar bone, oven bone has more osteocytes per unit volume. This is very important because it is growing. That's why it needs more amount of cells. Okay. That's why more amount of osteocytes are present in the oven bone as compared to the lamellar bone. Now oven bone weaker, flexible than the lamellar bone. Now let me show you the diagram. Yeah, so here you can see this is the oven bone and this is the lamellar bone. Now in the lamellar bone, I have told you concentric arrangements are there. Right? Can you see the concentric arrangement? See, this is the concentric arrangement. See, this is the concentric arrangement. Okay, but here no such arrangements are there. Irregular arrangements. So this is the difference between the lamellar bone and the oven bone. Next, so you know that bone is a which type of tissue? Specialized connective tissue. So specialized connective tissue, that means it will be having cells, it will be having fibers, and it will be having ground substance. So as you can see, cells, these are the cells, these are the ground substance which are in which the fibers are present, and proteoglycans and glycoproteins are there, and along with that the bone matrix where inorganic components are there, where calcium salts are deposited. Okay, So what are the different types of cells? Osteoprogenitor cells are there, osteoblast, osteocyte, osteoclast and bone lining cells. These are the different types of cells which are present related to bone. In case of cartilage, we have seen only two types of cells are there, chondrocytes and chondroblast, right? But here you can see different types of cells are there. Next, the bone matrix which are there, it is having two components, organic components and inorganic component. In case of organic component, fibers are there. Which fibers? Type 1 collagen fibers, and along with that proteoglycans and glycoproteins. Okay. Next, inorganic components, as you can see, calcium salts and some other minerals are deposited. Okay, that is constituting the bone, that is forming the bone. Next, if you see the microscopic structure of the cancellous or the spongy bone, okay, microscopic structure of the cancellous or spongy bone. Cancellous and spongy bone I have shown you earlier. That was not the microscopic structure. That was the normal structure, means normal section. Whenever you are seeing from your own eye, whatever you see, that is the normal section. Now this is the microscopic structure. Now in microscopic structure, first of all, it is made up of bony plates and rods. These are called as trabeculae. Same. Now each trabecula is made up of number of lamellae, between which the lacunae are there containing osteocytes. Okay, canaliculi are there which radiate in the osteocytes between the lacunae. Trabeculae are there, enclose the wide spaces. Now this is very important in case of cancellous or spongy bone. The trabeculae which are there, it will enclose large areas, and in those areas what are present? Bone marrows are present. Okay. Next, the trabeculae covered externally by vascular endosteum. Now what is endosteum, periosteum? I am coming into that. Containing osteoblast and osteoclast. Now I am talking about this. So this is the trabecular arrangement which I have shown you earlier. Now from this trabecular arrangement, if you see the microscopic structure, then this is how. This is the appearance. Okay, but this is not a microscopic diagram. This is a schematic diagram. Okay, which you can draw during the time of exam. Now I will show you a microscopic. Yeah, this you can see. This is the microscopic structure. Now in this you can see these are, what is this? These are the trabeculae. You can see these are the bony trabeculae. This is bony trabeculae. This is bony trabeculae. Okay, these are the trabeculae. Now these trabeculae are enclosing wide spaces. Now these spaces are called as marrow cavities. As you can see, marrow cavities are there. Okay. On the outer aspect you can see it is covered by periosteum. Now the marrow cavity which is there, and the inner aspect of the trabeculae, this is lined by endosteum. So here periosteum is there, and this is the endosteum. This is the endosteum, right? Now these are the marrow cavities where bone marrows are present. Along with that, blood vessels are also there. Okay, that means the cells of the bone marrows will be present. Along with that, blood vessels will also be there. This is the microscopic structure of spongy bone. Microscopic structure of spongy bone. Okay, this is another diagram. Okay, again the microscopic structure of spongy or the cancellous bone, means directly if you see under microscope. Now here is a twist. I don't know which book you are following. Okay, if you see the microscopic structure, the diagram of the microscopic structure in the book which you are following, two types of images are shown. One H&E staining images, and another image where you will not see this particular color. Okay, now those tissues are called as grounded section. That is called as grounded section. Now we know that in bone calcium salts are there. Okay, in other tissues, whatever you have studied till now, calcium salts are not there. Now directly you can't prepare a slide of the bone. For that you have to decalcify it. So here whatever you can see the structure of the bone, this is after decalcification of the bone. Okay, another slide is there without doing decalcification. Those are called as grounded slide. I'll show you that, don't worry. Okay, now this is decalcification. So before preparing the slide, it is kept in a strong acid or EDTA solution, so that the calcium which is there, it can be removed, and after that normal processing of the slide is done and the slides are prepared. Okay, so always keep that in mind. Whenever you see any slide of bone with the help of H&E stain, these are decalcified slide, and if it is without H&E stain, then that means grounded, calcium is present. Okay. Now, microscopic structure of the compact bone. So already we have discussed, but few things are there which need to be identified. That's why we are discussing this one. So when we examine the compact bone, we find that this type of bone are made up of concentric lamellae. Okay, so I have shown you the concentric lamellae. Now in between the lamellae, the spaces are there, that is called as lacunae and canaliculi. So what is there in the lacunae, what is there in the canaliculi, that already we have discussed. Now most of the lamellae are arranged in the form of concentric rings. Most of the lamellae are arranged in the form of concentric rings surrounded by a narrow Haversian canal at the center of each ring, and such arrangement are called as osteon. So one concentric lamellae will be there, and at the center of the concentric lamellae a canal will be there, that is called the Haversian canal. Okay, so if you take one Haversian canal and concentric lamellae together, it will form osteon. Together it will form a structure that is called as osteon. Okay, now along with the osteon, what you will see, the Haversian canal is there, concentric lamellae, and along with that you can also see the lacunae where the osteocytes are present. So one Haversian canal and the lamellae around it constitute the osteon. तो एग्जाम में शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, व्हाट इज ऑस्टियन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, बिटवीन द एडजॉइनिंग ऑस्टियंस देयर आर एंगुलर इंटरवल्स, दिस आर कॉल्ड एज इंटरस्टिशियल लेमेले. तो three types of lamellae are there in the compact bone. First we have seen the concentric lamellae and I have shown you. Now suppose one concentric lamellae and another concentric lamellae, दोनों के बीच में जो lamella रहेगा, that is called as interstitial lamellae. Okay, that is called as interstitial lamellae. Next, near the surface of the compact bone, the lamella are arranged parallel to the surface. Okay, or you can say parallel to the periosteal layer, and these are called as circumferential lamellae. ठीक है. तो how many types of lamellae are there? We have seen in compact bone 3 types. What are they? First concentric lamellae, then interstitial lamellae, and then circumferential lamellae. Now Haversian canal run predominantly along the length of the bone. They communicate with the marrow cavity and with the external surface. This is very important. The Haversian canal which is there, this is very important. Why? Because you know that bone is also a living tissue. Bones which are there in our body, these are living tissue. The living tissue means it needs blood supply, it needs nerve supply. Without blood supply, nerve supply, bone can't survive, right? So how the blood vessel will go, how the blood vessel will enter inside the bone, and inside the bone how they will travel, because it can't pierce the bone. It is made up of calcium salts are there. So for that, these Haversian systems are there. Through this, the blood vessel can travel easily. Okay. So Haversian canal run predominantly along the length of the bone. They communicate with the marrow cavity. Okay, so interiorly they are communicating with the marrow cavity, and they are communicating with the exterior also, external surface of the bone, through a channels, and that is called as canal of Volkmann, or also called as Volkmann canal. So along through the Volkmann canal, the Haversian system which is there, it is communicating with the exterior. Okay, let me show you the diagram. You can see, can you see the Haversian system? Can you see the concentric lamellae? Right? So this is the compact bone. Okay, this is the compact bone, and this is the spongy bone. ठीक है? This is the outer aspect. This is the inner aspect of the bone. Right? Now here you can see this is the compact bone. Now the periosteum will be there. Now once you come deep to the periosteum, then here you can see how the arrangements are shown. That is the concentric lamellae. So see, these are the concentric lamellae. Now can you see a cut section over here, cut section over here? This is nothing but the Haversian canal. So here, though TS is taken, that's why it is appearing like this. Okay. Next, here LS is also shown. Okay, so here you can see this is the Volkmann canal. So this is the Haversian canal. You can see this is the Haversian canal. Now it is connecting to the marrow cavity. यहाँ पे marrow cavity रहेगा, and it is connecting to the exterior also. So to the exterior it is connecting by a canal, and this is called as Volkmann canal. So I hope it is clear. Yes. Next, these are some diagrams which will help you to understand. As you can see, different types of lamellae can be shown over here. Okay. Now let me show you the diagram of the grounded bone. Yeah. So here you can't see H&E stain. Can you see H&E stain? It is not there. Previous diagram which I have shown you, there you have seen H&E stain. यहाँ पे H&E stain नहीं है. Okay, so this section is called as grounded section, where calcium salts are there. It is deposited. Okay, H&E stain करने के लिए what we have to do? We have to decalcify it. But this is done without decalcification. So what you can see over here. Now this is a beautiful diagram. This is expected from you to draw in the practical notebook. Okay, this you have to draw in the practical notebook. So what you can see, first you can see the circumferential lamellae. तो circumferential lamellae कहाँ पे रहता है? Periosteum will be there. Just deep to the periosteum, the lamellae which will be there. This is circumferential lamellae, which is parallel to the surface. As you can see, they are parallel to the surface. After that, here you can see these are the concentric lamellae, concentric lamellae, concentric lamellae, and in between the concentric lamellae, these are the interstitial lamellae. Can you see? Yes, these are the interstitial lamellae. Next, here you can see the Volkmann canal also, and this is the Haversian canal. Okay, so in a TS, the Haversian canal and Volkmann canal, the appearance will be different. Okay, because they are always situated perpendicular to each other. Okay, the Haversian canal and the Volkmann canal, they are situated perpendicular to each other. So that's why if you're taking a TS, the appearance will be different. Okay, so like this you have to imagine and then you have to study. Next, you can see another important point is given over here, that is the cement line. Can you see? Okay, cement line means this particular area. So suppose this is one concentric lamellae, this is another concentric lamellae. So they are overlapping with each other. So here everything will be present except the collagen fibers. That's why this particular area appears white in nature, and that's why it is also called as cement line. Okay, so I hope the diagram is clear. So please note that this diagram is important, and this diagram you have to draw in your practical notebook. Now, do you think any similarities are there in between this and this diagram? क्या similarity है? Yes? No. See the appearance over here and see the appearance over here. What do you think? क्या difference है?
Stain.
Yes, stain. Staining difference is there. तो उसमें stain use नहीं किया है previous one में. That is grounded one. Okay, and this is decalcified, and then stains are used to prepare this particular type of slide.
So you draw this one also?
No. This you don't have to draw. This is just for your understanding. Which diagram you have to draw, I'll specify it that this diagram you have to draw. Okay. Now what are these? Cells. So as I said, bones are connective tissue. So connective tissue में cells रहता है. This is one component of the connective tissue, right? So here you can see the cells which are present in the bone. So you can see the osteogenic cell, you can see the osteoblast, you can see the osteocyte with the processes. Can you see the processes? So these processes only travel through the canaliculi. Okay, and that's why it maintains the integrity of the canaliculi. अगर कैनेलिकुलाई में कुछ नहीं है तो ये दब जाएगा, means it will become closed. Because of this processes, the canaliculi integrity is maintained, and then you can see the osteoclast. Okay, anyone have you heard about osteoclast? What is the function? As you can see, osteoclast function reabsorption, destruction of the bone matrix. Means these are also called as bone removable cell. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So this chart is very important. As you can see, all the different types of bones which are cells which are present in the bone are mentioned over here. So first you can see osteoprogenitor cell. Now these are also having stem cell function. They will give rise to osteoblast. and they develop from mesenchymal tissue. So wherever bone formation is required at that time, in that area, these cells will be there, which will give rise to the osteoblast. Now osteoblasts are the bone forming cells. So what is the function? They will deposit the organic matrix, okay, collagen fibers, proteins, etc. Okay, so that is given up by the osteoblast cell. Next, osteocytes are there. So these are some mature cells. They are resting bone cell. They lie in the lacuna and have processes, okay, which I have shown you earlier. Next is the osteoclast cell. These are large multinucleated cells, and they are lying in the Howship's lacuna. Howship's lacuna means as such lacuna is not there. जहाँ पे osteoclast cells रहता है, okay, osteoclast cells का function क्या है? They will remove the bone. ठीक है? If you see the osteoclast cell where they are attached to the bony surface, okay, they are having finger-like projections, and these are called as ruffled membrane. Can you see? These are called as ruffled border, or these are also called as ruffled membrane. Now these particular osteoclast cells, what they will do, they will produce some enzymes, okay, for example MMPs, matrix metalloproteinase. So that what it will do, that will eat up the bone tissue and helps in removing of the bone tissue. Now you will ask, why we have to remove the bone tissue, why you have to remove bones from our body? Why it is required? Any idea? जो osteoclast cells है, the main function is wherever they will sit, okay, on the surface of the bone, due to the secretion of the enzyme, यहाँ पे एक depression create हो जाएगा, and in that depression it is sitting. So that depression is called as Howell's lacuna, where these bones are cells are present. Now the question is, why we have to remove bones from our body or bone tissue from our body?
Get calcium.
No. That is different. It is calcium metabolism. Okay. Common sense. That is used during remodeling. Suppose एक fracture हो गया है, ठीक है? Fracture हो गया है, and after that fracture healing has started. When the fracture healing has started, new bone formation, new bone tissue will be deposited. When the new bone tissue is deposited, at that time some extra amount of bone tissue are deposited around the fractured area. Some extra. If that extra amount of tissue is not removed, then the normal structure will not be maintained. Deform हो जाएगा, deformity हो जाएगा. During that particular time, these osteoclast cells are very helpful. They will go and they will help in doing the remodeling. Okay, so whatever excessive tissues are there, it will remove by the help of the enzymes which are secreted by these cells. Okay. Acid phosphatase, matrix metalloproteinases, these are the enzymes which are secreted by these particular cells. Okay. So these are the different types of cells. Okay, last one, this is the bone lining cells, lines the surface of the bone and that are not involved in the bone formation and reabsorption. Now mainly what are the functions of the bone lining cell? Helps in transport of substances. Okay. Now the matrix which is there, first we have seen the cells, right? Now after that the matrix which is there, the ground substance which is there, उसमें क्या रहेगा? As you can see, type 1 collagen fibers are there and they are synthesized by osteoblast. Now they are embedded into the ground substance, the fibers arranged in the layer, and these are called as lamellae, which already we have discussed. Okay. Now the fibers of the lamellae are parallel to each other, but these fibers in adjacent lamellae are perpendicular to each other. So this is a particular arrangement of the fibers which are present in the bone. Now function of the collagen fibers provides tensile strength and resilience to the bone. That's why collagen fibers are present. Cement line, already I told you what is the cement line. So cement line, each osteon comes in contact with the other osteon surrounded by retractile layer of mineralized bone matrix, that is called cement line. Though collagen fibers are not there, that's why they are distinctly visible. Okay. Next, the ground substance. So ground substance are having two components, organic and inorganic. In case of bone, the ground substance are having two components, organic one and inorganic one. So organic matrix, as you can see, collagen fibers are there along with their GAG, that is glycosaminoglycans and proteoglycans are there. And two specialized glycoproteins are there. What are they? As you can see, osteocalcin and osteonectin. Short question. Okay, what are the two glycoproteins present in the bone? That is the osteocalcin and osteonectin. तो इसका function क्या है? They bind with the calcium ions and therefore plays an important role in the mineralization of the matrix. तो matrix का जो mineralization होगा, that means mineral salts when it is deposited, so they will hold those mineral ions together. Okay, that is the function of the osteocalcin and osteonectin. So these are the organic part. Now this is the inorganic part. Inorganic part में क्या होता है? What is present in the inorganic part? The principal component of bone matrix is crystal of calcium phosphates, 85%. Okay, calcium phosphate. So previously I told you calcium salts are deposited. So which salt? You can see calcium phosphate. Now it also contains calcium carbonate, calcium fluoride, magnesium, sodium, okay, etc. Now these minerals form a needle-shaped crystal. So these minerals together they will form a needle-shaped crystal, and the name of the crystal is hydroxyapatite crystal. Okay, here you can see the formula. If anyone is good in chemistry, just see the formula. Okay, this formula I have added during the time of exam. If you want, you can write. If you don't write, no problem. But at least you have to mention that needle-shaped crystals are there called as hydroxyapatite. If you are good in chemistry, you can by heart and you can write this particular formula. Okay. Next, hydroxyapatite crystals, they always run parallel to the collagen fibrils. Okay, so the crystals of the inorganic part, they will lie parallel to the collagen fibers. So this is the particular arrangement of the collagen fibers along with the inorganic part. Okay, now lastly the covering of the bone. Coverings of the bone. So previously in case of cartilage, what is the covering? Anyone? What is the covering of the cartilage? It is perichondrium. Perichondrium. Okay, I know you have studied. Please revise all those things. These are important. So outer covering of cartilage is called as perichondrium. Okay, and what about bone? It is called as periosteum. Sorry. So here you can see the periosteum. Now in case of bone, two coverings are there. One on the outer aspect, that is called as periosteum. One on the inner aspect, that is called as endosteum. Okay, here you can see. Here देखो. So this is a long bone. So this particular covering, outer covering, this is called as periosteum, and the inner covering, which is there, this is called as endosteum. And endosteum already I have shown you along with the spongy bone. Previously in the microscopic diagram, I have shown you the spongy bone. Okay. Now same like the perichondrium, it is also having two layers. Okay, so the outer surface of the bones covered by thick fibrous membrane, that is called as periosteum. Okay, whereas the inner surface lined by a thin fibrous membrane, that is called as endosteum. Now both the periosteum and endosteum contains osteoprogenitor, osteoblast and osteoclast cells. So these are the cells which are present in those layers. Now periosteum is a thick fibrous membrane covering the entire surface except the areas where it is covered by articular cartilage. You have studied the synovial joint. I know you have studied the structure of synovial joint. तो synovial joint में जो articular surface होता है, the articular surface which is forming the joint, in that particular area periosteum is absent because that particular area is covered by articular cartilage. Now can anyone tell me what is the classification of that cartilage? Very good. It is a type of hyaline cartilage. Again, the speciality of that cartilage. No, hyaline cartilage transparent. No, this one, why it will ossify? तो movement नहीं होगा. That particular cartilage, it is a type of hyaline cartilage, but it don't have perichondrium. Okay, it don't have perichondrium. तो exam viva में questions ऐसे जाता है. Next, it is made up of two layers, that is the outer dense fibrous layer and inner cellular layer, which is also called as osteogenic layer. Okay. Now, very important thing, have you heard about this Sharp's fibers? No. तो you have seen the periosteum. In the previous diagram I have shown you the periosteum. तो जो periosteum है, it is attached to the outer surface of the bone. तो जो attached रहता है, for that the collagen fibers are helping, and these are nothing but the sharpest fiber. Okay. So as you can see, the periosteum united to the underlying bone by extrinsic collagen fibers, and these are called as sharpest fiber. Okay. Now these are porous collagenous fibers, inner layer which extend into the bone matrix. Now here you can see these are the functions of the periosteum. तो periosteum का functions क्या है? Protects and maintains the shape of the bone, nourishes the bone, provides attachment to the ligament, tendon, intermuscular septa, etc. Okay, तो ligament, tendon, whatever you have studied, the attachment, it is attaching into the periosteum. Okay. Next, endosteum is their cellular membrane lines the medullary cavity. तो जो medullary cavity है, medullary cavity के around जो lining है bone का, it is called as endosteum. Now the osteoblasts, osteoprogenitor cells are present, and they plays important role in remodeling and repair of the bone when there is any damage. Next, nutrient foramen is also there, present near the middle of the shaft for the entry of the nutrient artery. I hope you have heard about nutrient foramen. Okay, and have you studied the blood supply of the bone? Blood supply, epiphyseal artery, metaphyseal artery. Yes. Okay. Okay, so that is the periosteum. Okay. Now, so though we have discussed about the wait, don't talk. Though we have discussed about the macroscopic structure and microscopic structure of the bone, that also in detail, right? Then starting from the classification, I have mentioned the classification, then both microscopic, macroscopic, and along with that I have shown you the cells which are present, then the ground substance, then the different fibers, mainly the type 1 collagen fiber which is present, what is the function, okay, then oven bone, lamellar bone specifically, and then the microscopic structure of compact bone and the spongy bone. Okay, now what is left? Any idea what is left? Explanation part is over. Now what is left? You have to see the slide under microscope. That part is left. Okay, so we'll take a break of 10 minutes. After that, everyone, I have brought the slides over here. Okay, so you don't have to go anywhere. Here only I will focus the slide. You will come and you will see one by one. Along with that, you have to try to identify the features. Basically, whatever we see in the book picture and this picture, there are differences. And this identification is important. This basically should identify this particular thing, then it will be easy for you to identify the method.
Sir,